the oldest and fiercest rivalry in rugby league. I want to put the biggest shot on I've ever put on in my life. Took a dive.
Took a dive. You look at the paper, it said Pryce attack. It had a picture of Bondi and a picture of Bradford riots where I'm from.
Ahead of the Ashes series at the end of the year, I'm delighted to be joined by two icons of the game, two of the guys to play in the last Ashes series. We've had like a 20-year hiatus, it's not been around. Delighted to be joined by ex-teammate of mine, Leon Pryce. Good afternoon, and Adrian Morley.
So, hi, John.
Ashes is. What does that mean to you when you hear that? What does the Ashes mean to you, Mod?
Well, it's the oldest and fiercest rivalry in rugby league. I remember I'd never played a game of rugby league in my life. It was the 6-week holidays. I was just going into high school, and I shared a room with my two brothers. So there's three of us in the room, and my dad come up 8 o'clock in the morning. Get up, boys, get up, get down here. I didn't realise he'd been up since 5:30 in the morning watching and recording the third test, 1988, Great Britain beat the Aussies, yeah. And
Mike Gregory.
Mike Gregory, yeah. Well, he put it on, and just looking at his face, how elated he was. And just before kick-off, he said, "We've not beat these for 10 years, and the squad's decimated with injury. Watch this." And I woke up that morning, not even knowing about the game or having played it, to suddenly Mike Gregory and Andy Gregory and Henderson Gill being my heroes then, and just seeing what it meant to my dad. It had an effect on me, and then I couldn't wait to then, when I get to high school, play the game. And then I always loved Salford as a club, but Great Britain was the be-all and end-all as far as I was concerned, and Great Britain playing against the Aussies.
Have you still got the tape?
Still got the tape, VHS. No, we did keep it for a long time, but it was the old VHS. But it was a fantastic victory it was a famous victory for Great Britain.
I used to love that. You know, we used to record stuff off telly, didn't you? You used to put the tape in it, have like a label on it, and you'd go over the top of it. I always remember recording over something my dad would film. Yeah, 101 greatest tries and a kick. If we took 101 greatest tries and a kick out of our sense of humour, Liam, we'd have nothing to talk about. And that's that. Henderson Gill does a bit of a boogie. He's a stepper, he's four. It's 1988, it's all that. So, Liam, the Ashes to you then, the rivalry. It hits different, doesn't it? The Australian rivalry that we have with them.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it probably stems from us always kind of being the underdogs, and you know, they're always talked in a sense of being the world's greatest, and you know, we always want to. I think it's just different. We feel like we've got something to prove, to put ourselves on the map against the best players in the world. You know, they're always regarded as the best players in the world. Yeah. So for us, it's about, you know, proving that we can compete, really, and not just compete but beat them.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like for you, Leon, being in a team around the 2000s? You're in the international setup, having somebody like this man alongside you. When you're going into battle against Australia, how important is somebody like Moz in that situation?
Well, it just means everything, doesn't it? I remember a game we played, I know this is for England actually, in 2000 at Twickenham, and it was my first game against the Aussies, and you hear all these stories, don't you? They're the greatest, they're the best, they're the toughest, they're this, and it could fill you with a bit of fear and a bit of inferiority complex. But I just remember being young and not caring and wanting to beat them and hurt them, and we played against them at Twickenham, and I just remember Moz were like an animal. I think he got Brian Fletcher.
Oh yeah, broke his nose.
Broke his nose. And he got somebody else, I remember thinking, they're not that good, these. Like, Moz is killing them. Like, we're barring them, but they managed to stick with it. They can go through that tough period when they, you know, when the back's against the walls, and they just manage to keep going. And they only beat us, but it's always in that last 10 minutes that they come good, and we kind of dropped off and they just got over the line. But yeah, somebody like Moz and these big boys, Burgesses and people like that can look after us smaller boys, us wingers and centres and standoffs. You know, you need these animals in your team.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd imagine, you know, the confidence, Moz, you must have given people. How important is that in a test series like this, the physicality? Because we sometimes, the games become somewhat sanitised.
Yes.
Even from your day. You know? But how important is aggression and even violence?
Well, you know, the game is based on confrontation and aggression and violence. You know, let's not sugarcoat it. 70s and 80s, it was brutal. You know, when I was playing, it was cleaned up a lot, but there was still a lot more went on than does now. But obviously, domestic rugby league's great, but when you play internationals, it gets stepped up a notch. When you're playing against the Aussies, as I mentioned, the face rivalry, it gets knocked up another notch there. So you've got to be physical. You got to fight fire with fire. And I mentioned what Leon said before. It's the best test you can have as a playing international, playing against the best in the world. And playing with the best English players or Great British players of your era. It's very, very hard to describe. It's unbelievable.
2001, man. Let's start there. The Ashes series. Any memories? I know, Leon, you say you've got like a memory like a sieve about rugby.
Yeah, it's all mumbled into one.
It's just one. You've got one memory.
Yeah.
It's just one long memory.
It was tough.
But that 2001 Test series. Any recollections of that? Anything that stood out? First game was a comprehensive win, wasn't it?
Was that the game at Huddersfield?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the game where I think Paul Sculthorpe had an unbelievable game. I think we scored a try in the first couple of minutes, got a charge down from Connolly, and Jamie Peacock ran on and collected it and scored. And then I think it was just one of them really, obviously, tough games. For my memory, it always stands out with Scully having announcing himself on the world stage.
He was untouchable then, wasn't he?
It was like the dominant player in a game full of dominant players, unbelievable players. I think Brad Fittler were playing, and Lockyer, and you name it, the best players, some of the best players ever lived were playing, and in that game he was dominant, and it was, I was proud for him. I remember being proud for him to put on a display against the Aussies like that.
Yeah, that's such a funny thing that you say that. When you're playing with somebody and I've done it a few times where you stand back and you're just like really proud of somebody in your team.
I'm proud of him. We're proud of him.
I've had a few of those, where you're like, God, how well's he going? Within a game
against the best, against the so-called best in the world.
Yeah, I think it's hard though we can win a game, can't we? I think it's clear throughout the history of the Ashes we've always been able to jag a game here and there, but we've never been able to get it done since 1970.
Yeah, and them statistics are shocking, really. As you've mentioned, we have managed to jag a test here and there. I think the closest we've been since was 1990, where we won the first test, and we were drawing the second test with minutes to go. And then, even if we hadn't won it, a draw would have been as good as a win. But then they found a way to win. It was Ricky Stewart made a break and gave it to Matt Meninga on the inside. But I just thought. I think domestically the NRL or the Australian competition, it's played so fiercely and so competitively. All their players are geared up to play 80 minutes.
Yep.
And then the Super League or before that the English game, it wasn't as intense, so players weren't exposed to that level of competitiveness. So I think that's where they got us. And I think Great Britain's best 17 can compete against anyone in the world, but when you're missing a couple of players, and we always used to get a couple of injuries here and there, then we'd struggle. Whereas Australia could reel off 5 or 6 players in each position and still be world class. So we was behind the 8 ball, but you're right, we did get the wins, but just that Test series eluded us. I think that 2003, even though we lost every Test, we were winning every Test with 5 minutes to go, and then they found a way to win, and that's just recognised on how tough the domestic comp was, I think.
Well, you've brought 2003 up.
Yep.
So
I know it's coming. Yeah.
It's not a very long clip.
It's prepared.
We've prepared a highlights clip of Moses' contribution to Test 1. It was some start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was some start. I was playing in Australia at the time, and I was playing really well. This was one of my finest years as a player.
What's going through your head now?
Just I wanted to put the biggest shot on I've ever put on in my life.
Is that what you thought?
Yeah,
I wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to make a statement, show my British teammates how to handle these Aussies.
So there's no doubt that the ball was getting kicked off to your side.
Yeah, and yes. Yeah, took a dive. Milking it.
What do you reckon that would get now, Moz?
I know, yeah, it weren't great, but
you only just clipped it, didn't you?
Just
want a full contact.
Didn't follow through.
A little bit of his soul is still at Wigan, isn't it? He never escaped. But on serious on that, after that, Moz, what did you reflect? I know it's light that, isn't it? But as a player, you said you're at the peak of your powers. You've never been playing better. Was you upset?
I was distraught just because of the magnitude of the game, and that squad we had was probably the best team I played with, Great Britain wise, and I just thought they're there for the taking this series, and again we were beating them all game. If we'd have won the test, I wouldn't have felt half as bad, but I was absolutely inconsolable. I was extremely upset. Thankfully, I did get a chance to play in the second and third test, which was great just to get out there. But again, they found a way to win the series and complete a whitewash. But it was the one that got away, and I do feel certainly responsible for that challenge.
Right. Yeah. You were telling us a funny story about the mascot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you've just been sent off.
Yeah, just been sent off, and my mate Brady was the mascot with the big bear's head, and he got into the changing rooms, and I beat him into the changing rooms before he took his head off, and then he did take it off. I said, "What are you doing here? You're not starting." And I had to explain it. I had to explain it.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah,
it's easy to make light of it, but it's quite, I imagine it took you a bit of time to get over that.
No, it did. It certainly did. It took a long time, really, and even now, it's I still feel responsible, for that challenge. That we could have won the test. Who knows if I'd have stayed on? So it is tough to take, but as the years go by, you do get used to just being part of an infamous episode of the Ashes.
Yeah, that is a big moment, iconic moment. One of those things. I remember watching it, and it's such a, and in some ways, like that is all part of like the rich history of the competition. Big sort of moments like that, Leo.
Yeah. It's like you say, it's you get away with things at club level. You play the game, and it's tough and it's physical, but it's kind of almost accepted that when you're playing in Ashes in a test match, there's going to be violent moments that is kind of accepted. Maybe that one crossed the line a tiny little bit, but it's what fans want to see, it's what players want to do. It's we don't want it to be sanitised and to be run down. We want to hurt each other. It's physical. It's a tough game, and it's the highest level of test match. And I think taking that away from it, even if you watch State of Origin nowadays, them games are still allowed to be more physical than the game that's the week in, week out game.
You think it should be like that internationally? For this Ashes series, that's how you'd like to see
people want to see aggression, people want to see violence, players expect to be hurt. We want to hurt them, and they want to hurt us. We accept that when we go onto the field. So I think there's got to be a level of physicality that's allowed to be shown. That's tough. The toughest players play in those games. You don't get to play for Great Britain or England or Australia if you're not tough and you can't handle being hurt. And it's exciting. Fans want to see it. But fans want to see blood, don't they? They want to see some violence.
It's entertainment, isn't it?
It is.
After all, yeah. So 2003, it was a 3-0 loss to Australia in the end, but there's some standout players for that Australia team. Who on your minds are the greatest you came up against?
In my opinion, Darren Lockyer. I think
the best.
He was the difference between Great Britain and Australia in them days. In so many tests we'd be in it, we'd be competing, we were winning, and then he'd just find a moment of magic. Either he'd score a try himself or set a try up, and he was the difference.
Even his kicking game, his kicking game is like it's precise and low, and it was like a bullet, and he'd always find space. And that's what I remember. He's just precise and always got his team into position. Or he might kick play 4 and turn us around, and kick at the right time, and he'd be in the game all the game.
Yeah.
He'd always have his hands on the ball at the right moment.
How many times did he come up with something, right at the death, or he had
unbelievable.
so much quality. Anyone else, Leo? Yeah. Anyone else stand out?
No, funny that he says that was the standout for me with Lockyer, and it's not something that I've played against a lot many times, but whenever he played, he dominated, and he had, like I say, he had his hands on the ball at the right time. I always just remember his kicking game being just real low, them kicks that found space and turned you around and got one field position. You could be having a set where you'd dominate him for 5 tackles, and he'd kick the ball, turn you around, and you'd lose that field position that you gained.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get back.
Yeah, it's a match winner, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the difference. So we go on to 2006, last time that we beat Australia, and we were all involved in that game. Pretty special tour that. I reflect on that tour, I think because I was so young, but I really enjoyed that tour. I don't know if we've ever had a tour quite like that. It's probably the last time we really went on tour as a squad.
Well, I mean, I played for my country for a long time, and we didn't tour regular. The majority of the Test series was in the UK, but that was a good old-fashioned tour. It was took in New Zealand and Australia, but it was brilliant. It was I totally agree with you, John. It was very enjoyable. Lads worked hard, and then we picked up the famous win in Sydney, but it was extra special for me because I'd just finished my time there, and I'd agreed to sign for the Super League, and it was played at my home ground there at the Roosters, and it was amazing to play in it and also beat the old Edinburgh.
Yeah, it was funny, and we were warming up in that game, and I was just we're doing waves of passing, running up and down, and I've passed one to Stu Fielden, right? It's hit him it's literally on the money. Right, it's hit every one of his fingers, and just gone on the floor. And he gave me the biggest spray of all time, and I was like, this could go anywhere. But what I didn't expect is for the game to go for Stu quite as it did, because there was another big iconic moment in that game, wasn't it? And it was the Willie Mason punch on Stu.
And I think that what goes back to what I was just saying before is like it's kind of accepted. I mean, you do this nowadays, and you're probably looking at a 10, 15 game ban, but back then it was just play on, wasn't it? Put and report and let's get on with it, boys. And poor Stu took a bit of a wallop there. I'm sure he'd still like to try and get his own back.
Where were you?
I was on the bench.
You're on the bench?
I was devastated. I was.
I ran in just in time not to be involved too much. There you go, Liam.
As bad as that was, I think the one he did on Longy.
Longy was worse.
It was worse than that. So the same player, Willie Mason, after he passed it, Sean Longy come through and elbowed him in his head and split Longy, but that was worse.
Oh,
but,
good night.
That was. But fair play to Stu, he got up and he tried his. He tried to carry on.
That's
Stu.
worse.
That's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
They dished a bit of that out to us,
but we've done it in our time as well.
Well, yeah, I know.
We've done it in our time. It's a given, isn't it? It's going to happen.
If you asked Longy and Stu after the game, should he been sent off? They both would have said no, it's part of it.
Absolutely. Longy was brilliant at this time, wasn't he, as well?
Brilliant. This is the best game I've saw him play for Great Britain. He was absolutely outstanding. If he didn't play, we don't win.
No.
Yeah.
He was quality.
I had to room with him in Australia, and that's not fun. Do you know what I mean? 6 weeks. 6 weeks. First day there, he'd got disorientated and weed in the bedside drawer that had my passport in it. So my passport went, absorbed it, and it was like a shredded wheat. I had to go through customs with this massive passport. But yeah, that was an incredible win, wasn't it, Liam? Do you reckon one of your career highlights?
Yeah, it's got to do. I mean, particularly on a personal level, I didn't probably have my greatest of games, but it was just good to be involved in a team that went down to the death, that didn't give up, and we got so much scrutiny in the press all week, myself included, like we're not good enough. We'd send the part-timers, send them back home early, the rubbish, who are there, they're not going to win, they've not got cat and hell's chance, they'll get beaten by 8, and then, we turn up and we beat them on their own patch. It's, and it'll never be forgotten, will it, really?
No, it was magic. There's some good moments on that tour. We can't talk about the tour without talking about your comparing Blackpool and Bondi.
That's the only reason you've got me on here for, isn't it, really?
No, it's not. It's not.
Talk about that.
It's not. But that is. It was funny, wasn't it?
Well,
So do you remember exactly what you said?
I deserved it. Well, I just remember that we've been getting a good peppering all week in the press, and we're not used to, are we? In England, we're not on the front page, we're not on the back pages. We've got a tiny little column somewhere hidden 5 pages back on a newspaper somewhere. Whereas over there, it's front, back, middle, every 5-6 different. And we were just getting hammered. And I just remember thinking, if I get a chance, I'll just say something a little back. But this is pre-iPhone, pre-internet, so I just thought it'd kind of be a local.
You didn't think it'd go as.
No, I thought I'd get away with it. I said it's a bit of tongue in cheek. I'll just get my own little bit back. And I just said, I think, people talk about Bondi and these places, but I've been to Bondi and there's flies everywhere, and I'd rather be back in I'd rather be in Blackpool, if I'm honest with you. I think I talked about Bradford, and then next thing I know, I got a phone call about 4:30 in the morning. I'm rooming with Lee Gilmore, and so it says it's Channel 9 News. Could I speak to Leon Pryce, please? And Gilly passed me the phone and says, it's Channel 9 News after this. Leon, can we speak to you about your comments about Australia? And I said, no, can you put the phone down? Then we come out to bus this morning for training, and there's just there's press and cameras, and got Moz to wide in front of me, so I could like get a bus somewhere, and we just followed us everywhere. And we come back from training, they're on beach. It was just relentless, wasn't it?
It was mad.
And then on the paper it said, Pryce attack. And it had a picture of Bondi and a picture of Bradford riots, where I'm from. And just all these cars getting blown up, and Bradford, where I'm obviously from.
And they had a picture of Blackpool Beach with a donkey that was about
right,
200 years old.
And then all ex-players then were all coming out saying, send him back home, and don't make him, send him back cattle class, not business class. Send him home, send him back. They were outraged, weren't they? Just outraged everywhere, which, looking back, it's just good.
It's just funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, we found it. They didn't find it very funny.
No.
What do you think, Bondi? You live in Bondi?
No, could you?
Could you?
It's about 4 or 5
So you were
bays
offended,
up from.
you were offended by Leon's comments?
No, not one bit. No, it's just a bit of fun, innit? But they do love to get hold of something and make a story out of nothing over there, and I thought it was funny more than anything. So yeah, it was good because it was one of our own were being attacked.
Yeah.
You know, we sort of all stuck all the shutters up and looked after each other, and it gave us a bit of a boost, really, I think.
Yeah, I always remember Carl Jennings. You remember the conditioner, and he made that big speech, didn't he?
What
He
did
made
he
a
say?
big speech in a team meeting about it takes 8 weeks for your body to adapt to new training methods. And Tez Newton was so sharp, wasn't he? He said, Carl, we're only here for 6 weeks, so what's the point? Yeah, that was I think looking back, probably that tour is probably my favourite. It was a glimpse for us, actually, into the life that this man led. We didn't even know the game was that big in Australia.
It just felt like a proper tour. Like it was enjoyable, wasn't it? We got to go to different countries. We did bond as a team. We weren't individual where we were split off into your own groups where you play for Saints. We all seemed to come together, and we were a real good team atmosphere, and we enjoyed ourselves when we, as a tour should do. You should play hard, train hard, but then you should enjoy time together outside of rugby and visit places and go to a couple of bars in your downtime. And in that area, you could do that. So I think everybody got along. You know, there were no cliques, if you like.
Nah.
A real proper Great Britain tour.
It was a proper tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I agree with you too. My favourite tour, one of my favourite times in my career.
And that pressure in Australia, Moz, obviously you lived there. Will you go back there? Or are you here now? Or?
I'm probably here now. That ship's probably sailed now, but I did enjoy my time there. I went back for a holiday recently, and I forgot how much I missed the place. It is a fantastic place to live. It's just full of Australians. That's the only problem. But,
should we get him wound up?
Yeah.
I'd love to roll Moz out.
I know, yeah.
I'm going to put that forward. What if you could bring any historical player back for the first 12 seconds of the game? Which one would it be? It'd be you, Moz, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but no, it's you know, I do love the place. My daughter fell in love with the country, actually. So never say never, but I'm probably here now. But I could live there, definitely.
Right, Ashes prediction is back. The Ashes is back. 3 great venues: Wembley, Everton. Delighted that it's Everton. Headingley, they're sold out.
Yeah.
Sell me a win for England.
Well, I think traditionally, Great Britain or England now have got a great record at Wembley. The amount of times they got the win in the first test, because you think about it, the Aussies have come over, they've not had any warm-up games, all new. So we always had a great chance and opportunity in that first test. So I think it'll be the same this time, because spectators can't get tickets for the second and third test. Hopefully they'll say, right, let's go watch the first one. Hopefully there'll be 60, 70,000 plus watching that first test. That makes a huge difference. Get the crowd behind them. The Aussies could be a bit underdone, and we'll get that first test won, and then we'll see what happens then.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same path for Moz. It's going to be tough, like we elaborated before. The Australians have so much strength in depth.
Scary, isn't it?
It's scary. The players, they have one player drop out. We were speaking about Crichton. He won't be playing because he's playing for Samoa, but then they've got Bradman Best, or they've got, can't even think of names, or the amount of quality that they've got in all positions, not just one or two. They've got 2 or 3 world-class players in every single position. So it's going to be, obviously we can do it. I think for me, conditions are probably going to have to be a little bit wet, a little bit greasy, where then winter conditions.
Get the sprinklers on.
Yeah, the winter conditions where, it's tough and keep the ball tight and we restrict their playmakers, Cleary and players like that.
It's hard. That's a difficult job in itself.
It's a difficult, probably the best player in the world,
Yeah,
on his own. So yeah, it can be done. It's going to be difficult, but we definitely need that home support. We need to get right behind that, make it hostile, make it hell, and then anything's possible.
Yeah, are you going?
Yeah, but I'm going to go to all three. Yeah.
Well, I think I'm getting some free tickets because I've done this today. Jackson is going to
Sell out.
I'm in a box. I'm in a box apparently.
Are you in a box?
Yeah, I don't know. I am now. I said if I'm going to do this, I want a box.
Well, I think if that gets put out on this, you might be all right for tickets.
Yeah, I'll hopefully be going. Yeah.
I think we're all looking forward to it. It's good to reminisce about the last time the Ashes was played in 2003, 2001, which you guys were part of. But then I think just a bit of time to think about that 2006.
I think the big thing is for kids as well is the NRL is so big and it's produced brilliantly, and we do watch. I watch most games every week. The young kids in England, they want to see these players live in the flesh.
Absolutely.
As much as we want to watch our players, but we get a chance to watch them every week. But to see players like Cleary and people that you sit and watch on TV on the NRL every week to come over and to see these stars that Latrell Mitchells that you see, and they've got such big profiles. Myself included. I want to go to a live and watch them in the flesh and see what they look like up close and personal. So there's no greater opportunity to get a chance to watch these guys live in the flesh.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think we're all looking forward to it, aren't we?
Can't wait.
So yeah, get down. Buy some tickets for Wembley before Leon snaps them all up.
For free.
Right, cheers, fellas. Thank you.
Cheers, Joe.